Mansa Musa, the richest person in human history. Do you believe that throughout the entirety of history, the wealthiest person on the entire planet was not Jeff Bezos, not Elon Musk, not Rockefeller nor Caesar, but rather a black king in Africa, a region the world today still defaultly assumes to be impoverished? Yet, the truth is, just one spending spree by this man caused the global gold market to crash for 12 years. And even today, no one has been able to touch the sheer magnitude of wealth he once held. That is Mansa Musa, the legendary emperor of the Mali Empire, the man who transformed a desert region into the wealthiest and most learned center of the world during the Middle Ages. In the early 14th century, while Europe was still engulfed in the shadows of war and plague, a different empire was rising gloriously in far-off West Africa. Mali, the land situated in the Sahara Desert, possessed what the entire world craved most: gold and salt. This place was dubbed the Golden Heart of Africa, and right at its center was Mansa Musa, the man chosen by destiny to be king. Born into a royal family, Musa was not the direct heir to the throne. He was only appointed as regent when King Abubakar Keita II, his relative, ventured out. That was an Atlantic expedition with 2,000 ships, never to return. And so in 1312, Mansa Musa became the 10th ruler of the Mali Empire, the man whom history would soon recognize as the richest of all time. Under Musa's reign, Mali controlled Africa's most crucial trade routes. These routes connected the gold mining region of Wangara to the Mediterranean ports. At that time, half of the world's gold was said to originate from Mali. But Mansa Musa didn't just want wealth, he wanted to elevate an entire civilization. He built the city of Timbuktu, transforming it into the cultural, religious, and academic center of the entire continent. Merchants, scholars, and architects from across the Arab world flocked here. Under his rule, Mali became an empire where knowledge, art, and ethics flourished brilliantly, a feat few Middle-aged nations achieved. In 1324, Mansa Musa began his pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, an event that made his name echo across the world. But it wasn't just a spiritual journey, it was the greatest procession of wealth in human history. According to Arab chroniclers, Mansa Musa's entourage consisted of 60,000 attendants, 12,000 slaves, and 500 heralds dressed in gold silk. They were accompanied by hundreds of camels laden with gold bars and precious stones. Throughout the thousands of miles across the Sahara Desert, he distributed gold to the poor, built mosques, aided merchants, and gave charity everywhere he went. The people of Cairo, Egypt, had never witnessed anything like it. A king from a distant land, wearing brilliant robes, shining as if dipped in gold, scattering wealth as he passed. He was so generous that within just a few weeks of his stay in Cairo, the gold flooding the market caused gold prices to plummet disastrously. The currency's value collapsed. The Middle Eastern economy plunged into a crisis that lasted for 12 years, all because one man spent too much money. History has never recorded a similar case, a single individual, powerful enough to shake the entire economy of a continent. Modern historians try to estimate Mansa Musa's fortune. If converted to today's value, he owned over $400 billion, more than the combined wealth of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates. Mountains of gold, caravans of white-tusked elephants, and lands and mines stretching from the Atlantic to the Niger River. But what made Mansa Musa greater than any modern billionaire is how he utilized his wealth to support knowledge and humanity. After returning from Mecca, Musa built hundreds of mosques, libraries, and schools, and notably the Sankore University in Timbuktu, once considered the leading academic center of the world, rivaling Baghdad or Cairo at the time. Thousands of scholars, mathematicians, astronomers, and philosophers came from all over to teach and study. Mansa Musa proved that wealth is not merely power, it is responsibility. The responsibility to use riches to illuminate a nation, Although a devout Muslim, Mansa Musa allowed religious freedom, a rarity in the medieval world. Malian citizens could practice their own religions and maintain their native customs. Women were not required to veil their faces, unlike in Arab regions. He respected indigenous culture while simultaneously opening doors to outside knowledge, a mindset far ahead of his time. This tolerance helped Mali become the greatest cultural melting pot in Africa. At a time when Europe was still struggling with religious wars and witch hunts, in Africa, Mansa Musa had built an empire of peace, scholarship, and faith. When Mansa Musa died in 1337, Mali continued to flourish for several more decades. His name was etched onto the Catalan Atlas map in 1375, where he was depicted seated on his throne, holding a massive gold ingot, the ultimate symbol of supreme wealth. But what made posterity respect him was not just money, but vision. In an era where gold was everything, Mansa Musa used gold to buy knowledge, freedom, and a future for his people. If Rockefeller symbolizes capitalism, if Caesar symbolizes power, then Mansa Musa symbolizes enlightenment through compassion and understanding. 700 years have passed, yet the world has never witnessed anyone who could rival him, not just in wealth, but in civilizational stature. Mansa Musa's story reminds us that wealth is only truly meaningful when it brings light to others. Perhaps that is why, even though he has been absent from the world for nearly 8 centuries, the name Mansa Musa still shines brightly. As a king, not just of gold, but of knowledge and benevolence.